Welcome to part 2 of my mini albums flip through from I Love Summer in the Maritimes. So if you watched part 1, you've already seen me flip through this video, and I'll link to that below in case you're just tuning in now. And now we're going to talk about this journal that I did, and then we'll do the Killikit. So this is my typical style of journaling. So I just realized I've shown you guys a lot of these types of books, and I never really talk about how I make them. I just kind of throw them in at the end of my videos. But basically, the way I do this is when I am on a trip, I type up a little bit every night. And then when I get home, I transfer it into Microsoft Word and I reformat it to, you just go into the page options and you tell it to do a book fold. And it tells me how many pages I have at that point. So this was like 30 or 35 pages or something like that. And then when I switched it into a book fold, it became 70 pages. So then what I do is I just figure out how many signatures I need. So with 70 pages, every sheet of paper has 4 pages on it, right? So like if this here is a sheet of paper, let's see, I think it's this one, yeah. I don't know. So if you have one sheet of paper, so this is one sheet of paper right here, it's going to have 4 pages on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I had 70 pages, that means I'm going to need roughly 17 or 18 sheets of paper to make the book. So then I just start thinking about it in terms of a book. If I've got 17 sheets of paper folded on themselves, it's not going to fold and lay like totally flat. So what I could do, or say 18, is I could split it into 2 9-page signatures, and then I fold 9 and I fold 9. Or what I could do is I could split it into 3 6-page signatures and do 6, 6, and 6. And that's what I did here. So this is 3 6-page signatures. So I just go into my 70-page Word document, and first I print the first page 1 to 24, because 4 times 6 is 24. And that gives me the first signature. And then I print 25 to 48, and that gives me the second signature. And then I print everything else, and that gives me my third signature. And when I sew my signatures together, and I'm going to link to the tutorial that I used to do that sewing. So once the signatures are all sewn together, then I've got, like, you know, my text block, and I just backed the spine. So it was about 1/4 of an inch thick. So I used a 1/4 inch piece of craft cardstock. So it was like a long piece that was 1/4 of an inch thick, and I just stuck it to the back of this block to kind of make it a little more square. And then for my cover, I just took a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I should just mention that all these pages I just printed onto 8.5 by 11 paper. So then my cover was a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I just scored out a 1/4 inch in the middle and glued my text block in at the spine. So you can almost kind of see, like, I don't know if you can see this, but like right here is the page, and then there's like a little tiny piece of cardstock, that's the back spine, and then the pages. And then to decorate my cover, all I had left at that point were scraps. I didn't have anything big enough to do the covers, so I just cut all my scraps into 3 by 1.5 inch rectangles or 1.5 inch squares, depending on how big of a scrap I had, and I just kind of mosaiced them on the back, stuck them down with matte medium, and just trimmed off the excess. So once my book was printed and assembled, then I cut it down. I cut about 1/2 inch off the top, the side, and the bottom, and that evens out the pages. But the main reason I did it was to make it the same size as this book, so now they're the same. So they'll sit in the bookcase together. See, they're the same size. So they'll sit in a bookshelf nicely. And then for my cover, I just did a piece of one of the journaling cards. Used some Ink-A-Dink-A-Doo stamps to stamp on my title, and some alpha stickers and washi tape here as a final embellishment. I had every intention of covering the spine, but I just really actually like this plain craft cardstock, so I ended up leaving it, and I'm good with that. Yeah, so that's how I do these books. I will link to some of the tutorials I used below, and they come together pretty quickly. It only takes me about an hour to put it together, and it saves all my memories, because like there was no way these were going to fit into my mini album. So, and I took the time to type it. The least I can do is print it off. It's kind of, I feel like I owe it to myself. So that's why I keep making these. So let's talk about killing a kit. So if you watched my supplies video, you know I used the Ahoy There collection by Cartabella, and I loved this collection. I had so much fun working with it. In terms of paper that I have left, I had 5 pages that I didn't use, but 2 of them are just plain cardstock. Only 3 of them are from the actual collection, so I'm sure I'll find uses for them. I had one large scrap left, and I had a whole bunch of little scraps, so they're just in, sorry, I'm getting a weird glare because the sun's setting right now, but basically these are just all the little pieces that are left. So I think I pretty much killed the paper. I feel good about that. And then from the sticker sheet, I think I effectively killed the sticker sheet. The only ones I didn't use was the dolphin because it didn't really, like, we didn't see a dolphin or anything on this trip. I didn't feel right using it. And the Cruising Around the World sticker because, again, I went home. I didn't go around the world. So just going to move this back a little bit so we get out of that bright, bright sun. Give me a second here. There, I think that's a little better. So, yeah, so that's the collection. The collection's pretty much toast, which was my goal, and I feel good about that. So then I've got my alpha sheets. This was part of the collection again, and I killed this alpha. Like, I've got like J's, Q's, and Z's left. I'll keep the ampersand, but other than that, I'm going to toss this. I don't need like a sheet of X's. And I also brought in this Fancy Pants alphabet, and I almost killed it. I still got like an E and an O, so I can make a couple more words out of it. There's a U there, so it's pretty close to dead, but not quite. So this will go back to my stash. These alphabets, again, very close to killing them, but not quite. Most of the vowels are gone. I can probably spell a couple more words with them, and the numbers. I've got tons of the numbers left, so I'll save those. They'll go back in the stash. I didn't even know if I was going to use this one, but I did use it a little bit. Didn't know if I was going to use this one, but I used like just this little banner out of it and that star. I put a good dent in this sticker sheet. I used all the ones that had colors that matched that were applicable to the trip, so I didn't use any of the orange ones. We didn't see a beach. We didn't catch a wave, so I used all the ones off that one that I could. And then I've got my stamps. I used 3 of them, 3 out of the 4. I didn't use the whale, but I used everything else. These were my bits. And so there was one sticker that I used here. I didn't use the world as a book and those who do not travel read only a page because I didn't really travel. I went home. I used all the stickers on this die cuts with the view sheet, except that one because it was orange. It didn't match. And I used, this is another piece of the same sheet and it's all gone. I used a lot of these. I didn't want to use them all though, so I felt good about that. I went through 4 of my masking sticker sheets that I used. I used this snap, oh actually this was my pink paisley. These were the gold stickers went on this sheet. They're 100% gone. This was a Snap Simple Stories I Am collection sticker sheet. I cut the top off at some point so it's gone, but I used up the whole thing except this little pink flower that didn't match my book. Some other stickers I used up. I put a dent in these alphas, but I didn't really use them much. These were my nautical stickers. I used them all except for the hats because the hats are ugly. These were my embellishments. I had one 4x6 journaling card left and one 3x4 journaling card left, but I used all the other ones. I had this little sail away thing. I had an anchor. These were all the little round embellishments, like all the cut aparts that came out of this sheet, and they're all gone. I used one of these tags, which was kind of what I wanted. I used most of my numbers. All I've got left in here, I had a full set of numbers. All that's left now is a couple zeros, a 9 and a 7. And then these ones, they didn't really match, so I didn't feel bad about not using them. I used up another set of embellishments. These were all the circular embellishments. They're all gone. Still have the bicycle. There was a third set of embellishments. I forget what was in it, but it's empty now. I still have the gold tags. I used the largest frame, but I didn't use this embellishment because it was the wrong color. I used the largest one out of this, but not the middle ones. And then I still have these bathing suit journaling cards. Didn't end up using them. And some of these red tags. Basically anything that ended up not being the right color I didn't use in the end. So, oh, and I still have the whale. I couldn't find anywhere to put the whale. So yeah, other than that, I totally killed my kit and I feel awesome about it. I love when you use up a ton of stuff. So yeah, I had so much fun making this album. Next time I'm going to plan it better. It should have been bigger. It should have been like at least 8x8, maybe even like a Snap album. But yeah, super fun and really glad I used up some stuff. So if you stuck through 2 videos, thank you so much for hanging in there with me. And if you just watched one, that's also great. So thanks again for watching.